SLC is the School Leadership Consortium, and that's our Model for Success initiative for school administration at Texas A&M San Antonio. And it's an exciting model. It's in its second year. We'll be going into this coming year. And I think one of the very important aspects of it is it was designed based on student feedback and feedback from our local school districts.
This program the way it's designed is like a hybrid college course with some of the teaching styles that we have in the public in our K through 12 schools. The way we are going through is we're a cohort, so we don't necessarily go to the college for the classes. We meet in the different school districts. So the college is coming to us. Everybody in my cohort right now, we're all either teachers or we work at a district level. So we come together as a group of students, and our professors come to us instead of us coming together and going to a college campus per se. It's designed to try to be a little more flexible, a little more comfortable.
With the co-teach model, where you have a university professor working with a practitioner in the school, you have that blend of meshing what your textbook says or the theory and how it's supposed to be with how it really is in reality. Oftentimes there's a disparity between the two, so the practitioner's viewpoint really shows what it's like to be facing those day-to-day challenges and making those crucial decisions that are important in our schools. You have the viewpoint of the person who's really walked in the shoes. I can remember in some of my courses that I took, either in my master's program, even in my doctoral program, where we're learning the theory behind it or going through the course of study, and I'm thinking, you're not out there in the real world, nor have you ever, as a college professor, been a school administrator. So having that perspective, that point of view, is really critical.
We actually had an opportunity through one of our activities to write a letter in response to a grievance. You don't know what challenge, you don't know the challenge until you have a grievance in your hands and you have to respond to it. And you have to work with that person.
I think it's an excellent model in that I already have my master's, and so I've been through a postgraduate degree program, and a lot of it is philosophical and it's not necessarily practical to the way things work in the school system. So having somebody that actually can talk to you about the ways that you handle things in a school in a practical application matter is like having a window or a mirror that you can see things that you normally wouldn't know until you were put into the position. So it really is great, because while the philosophical side of education is what everybody aspires to, the reality is you have to practically apply it.
To be a good leader, one thing is you can do the theoretical part of it. It's like teaching science. You can teach kids about oxidation so much, after a while it doesn't make sense anymore. You have to be able to give them a hands-on experience. One way we can get hands-on experience is from Dr. Atzel. He comes in because he's already in the field. He's already a leader of teachers and such. So he already knows what it takes. So from his point of view, I actually do learn a lot from him, because he's telling you, if you do it this way, do it that way. If you see this, you be very careful. He's giving you all these little if and or and situational analysis. Dr. Henry, on the other hand, just will come and tell you this. But if you just end it there, that's where we end in most people's mind. You have to feed it, take it to the real world analysis, and then make it easier for us as leaders. You have that experience without having to go through the actual experience.
The students were engaged the whole time. They were problem solving. It was authentic. They also had experienced things similar to that in other schools. And there were just a lot of teachable moments that we saw. As they would be in the middle of something, we could talk about things. Well, what happens if somebody talks too much, says the wrong things? It creates a problem that can be 10 times larger than the original problem. And so those are the kind of lessons that I think they're able to get in a risk-free environment.
So it's interesting, they both, they work together to show us things and to relay experiences to us that, maybe just one person wouldn't have on their own. So, like they say, two minds are always better than one. So it's really helpful, and they work well together.
I think the most important piece was the fact that faculty from the program really were open to the concept of having this program become a co-teach model, so that it wasn't just going to be about theory, but it was theory in action by having practitioners who were experts in those areas, school leadership that we're preparing them in, come and teach with our faculty that particular course. So it made it not only relevant, but very exciting for the participants who are in the program now.
When we try to employ individualized consideration, it requires you to look beyond the regulations. But it is very, very important to look at social implications, legal, your board policy implications, your economic implications, educational implications, political implications, and ethical implications. I can tell you that our students experienced pieces of that throughout our classes.
You don't want to go out there and reinvent the wheel when the wheel is starting in front of you. Dr. Asu is the wheel. Don't need reinventing him.
So I think there's three key aspects to the School Leadership Consortium. The first of those is that it's a co-teach model. The second one is the idea of having the classes taught in the school district, and that seems to be really important to our students themselves. The location of the classes, teachers are very busy, give a lot of themselves to their students, and so to be able to have the classes located in a convenient spot that's also very practitioner-based. You can look around you and see these are the things that we're going to be dealing with. And then the third is a very innovative approach, which is an open cohort model for professional development. And that is, if you are a current practitioner, so you're an assistant principal, you're a principal, you graduated from your program, whichever program that might have been, 5, 10, 20 years ago. Usually universities don't stay very connected with their program graduates to continue to offer them professional development in their current roles once they've graduated. Well, in this model, the third prong, I think, that holds it together is the idea that any professional from that school district can attend free of charge any of the classes for continuing education units, so for ongoing professional development. That was something that the superintendents that we partnered with were very excited about and asked for specifically. So those are the three main prongs: the co-teach model, the in-district location, and then the open cohort ongoing model for professional development.
You can always read about, you can always Google anything. All right, I can be talking about Lau versus Nichols, and they haven't heard it. They can Google it and find out about it. But it is very different when you have to apply that to a live scenario.
I think it's training us by offering us real-life scenarios, giving us examples of things like we've had to talk about. What would we do in the situation of a grievance, or how would we conduct this meeting? What would we do if a staff presented us with this situation? What would we do if, this happened with a student? How would we handle this? Or it's giving us a lot of what ifs, things that you see all the time. It's also giving us resources to look, okay, well, if you don't know the answer, this is where you can go. This is the support that you have.
I think the professors seem to have a real vested interest in our success too, and we can feel that, they're very proactive on our part.
What if said from day one, which sort of caught my attention, was they want us to be successful, and they're willing to do what it takes to make us successful. But we as the potential leaders have to want to do it. And I sort of like that, because you are not being spoon-fed, you are being led, but you also learn how to get there.
It's made me want to drive and to understand the different aspects of how to run a school. And the more I understand, the more I can see what I think is good leadership and what I think is bad leadership. So do I see it as an impact, or is the classes impactful? Definitely. The more knowledge you have, the more you can help people.
One thing about college teaching that I've read the experts have said is that sometimes you've done a better job when you've gotten a class. They may not have learned everything they needed to know, but they enjoyed it so much that they're going to pick up a book and read about it for the rest of their life. And I feel like we achieved that here tonight in this semester with these students.
They are leading you, but they are not really they're leading you with enough. Let's put it this way: it's not like they hold you down, like they give you breadcrumbs, and you have to figure out where the bread came from. So you they're leading you, but you still have to do the other part that makes you get there. If you really want to do this, then it's up to you to put in the work. And I like that. I don't want people to just say 1 + 1 = 2. It's because I'll ask you next question next day, what is 1 + 1 again? If you didn't tell me, you never showed me how to get there.
I hope soon to move into a principalship at some point. I'm already a academic facilitator, so that's where I hope to go. Or I would like to move into curriculum and central office if that opportunity arose.
After I complete the whole program, I plan to take the principal certification course or test. Hopefully I'll pass it. And then once I do that, I plan on applying for assistant principal jobs throughout the different school districts. And hopefully I will become a principal.
I've learned a lot in the 3 classes that I've taken, and it's broadened my horizons and made me think about things differently and made me want to do more than what I'm doing now.
Texas A&M San Antonio has definitely made its presence in our city, and I only see them continue to grow and expand and broaden their expertise throughout our community.